When you're living in the Holocaust, you buckle anew. There's relief in the teeth of the kiss of cold steel.
I'm Keilani, and today I'm here to react to Ren's song Troubles that was just recently released after all of his chapters, where we got to just learn so much about Ren. And this song is just a perfect medley of these experiences. It's like the condensed version of all of those chapters. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you to hear my thoughts and my insights. These are all my thoughts after having watched it, but you're going to experience a pure reaction of me watching that song for the first time. You know, I just have so much gratitude. I say it every time. I have gratitude for really anyone who's willing to share their story of resilience and triumph over trauma. And Ren has done so in such a vulnerable, raw, poetic, creative, artistic way that you can't help but just fall in love with who he is as a person and with his story. I can recall so many times in lows in my life where I was seeking out stories of just true, raw resilience. And here he provides it for us with some flair, which is extra fun. I've been saying this lately, and I'm just going to keep saying it again. Like, Ren, can you hear me? Ren, we should connect. You're super cool. Oh, I know that's super dorky, but I mean, I am a fan of his music, clearly. I also just think it's really wonderful when people who can be vulnerable and authentic connect and get to talk about that. And I've got questions and things I want to ask. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of Ren's music, for being a part of this journey. Please check out our podcast episodes as well, where we dive into deep topics that are affecting us all, and we try to do so with a dash of humor. Thanks once again, and please enjoy.
Ooh, Lordy, trouble so hard. Ooh, Lordy, trouble so hard.
I don't reach into the past very much for these shards of shattered glass and harsh paper cuts. Leave me stop when I reach in, memories are seeped in. Hydrochloric acid, I go to war and get passive and freeze up. Music helped the ice to thaw. Put the chisel in the middle, swing the hammer of Thor. Pull it out of the impossible, Excalibur sword. Etching notepads full of reasons why my feelings are sore. The first day that
First, I think he's in Canada because that's where he's been living, and it's like snowy and wintry, and it's making me feel cold because it's bringing back the time I did in Minnesota, northern Minnesota, and how cold it is. Like, I don't reach into the past very much for these shards of shattered glass and harsh paper cuts. It's hard to revisit moments that still carry so much weight and heaviness. It has taken me years to like have some distance between painful parts of my life to being at a place to really be able to share and talk about it publicly. So I understand what he's saying here, and yeah, the pain of having to revisit it, and yet he's also sharing that it's a gift to be able to do so, that he was wanting these messages of hope when he was sick, and so this is an opportunity that now he's feeling ready to illuminate more of his story. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That's such a gift. I think, honestly, it's this is what we are meant to do as humans. It's what you're meant to do, too, is to find a way to heal and alchemize what you have learned as a way to show others along the path. I think the more that we can embody that in our real world and not just stay sticking in a stew of our pain, but really transform it, it's just, that's the stuff of life. That's the best stuff of life. That's what I'm here for, and what Ren is always delivering. I wish I knew, I love this like background, like, oh Lord, I trouble so hard, and that like singing in the background is really cool. I don't know if that's from a different song, or it sounds like kind of familiar. Maybe someone else knows. I'd love to know. And how much music helped that ice to thaw for him. I just think about how difficult, like he knew he had this gift for music. He knew he had these abilities before he got sick. And then to feel so stuck. So many people, it takes a lot of time to realize what your spark is, to realize what your passion is. But to have known that at an early age for him and then feel sick and not be able to take action, that's like a different kind of pain. That's a different kind of, you're not able to launch. Getting to learn more of his story, it's just so profound.
First day that I got sick, ejected from the cockpit of living. 19, young teen, waking up bitten. Posters up, manhunt, ran, went missing. Hard to have faith when the gods don't listen. The first year maybe was the hardest. Waking in a body that was buried like a carcass. Brain.
Oh, right. He's speaking to all of that right now. So the first day I got sick, ejected from the cockpit of living. Like, I just recall when I was in my like late teens, early 20s, I was so ready and excited to launch. I was ready to get into a different space, to experience my independence, and like, I like studied abroad in South Africa. Like, what's the farthest place I can get from home? How do I just dive into the direction that I was wanting to go? But to have that energy, to have like started to launch into life and then be brought down so brutally, ejected from the cockpit of living, 19 years old, and just feeling like Ren is MIA, missing in action. He's like a shell of himself now. What a confusing space. And how do you find hope in that? Because any like excitement that feels the same way as it did when you were well, it's immediately followed by such disappointment because your body won't cooperate. So where do you find that hope? What's beautiful is that he's trying to share his process. And I think there's moments when you just keep going and it isn't about necessarily like having that clarity, but like, how do you keep going? How do you just find like that sliver of hope and keep going? You don't always know what the full outcome is going to be.
Maybe was the hardest. Waking in a body that was buried like a carcass. Brain in the lion's den, body in the shark pit. Waking up in pain again, aching, broken hearted. Persistent little blogger, I was bouncing from a doctor to a doctor to a doctor, like a table tennis game that has no end. So be the fate of Ren. Every single question answered with a question on the end. The second year I came to terms with giving up my dreams. Mine was severed from the means that helped me write these rhyme schemes. Brain was inflamed, the fatigue was crushing. Hard to remain sane with your brain combusting. And the third year,
wow, to give up on his dreams, like what heartbreak in that, what grief, and like the lingering of just living in a body that's in pain like that, physical pain. It's so difficult to enjoy life when you're in physical pain. I mean, I struggle to enjoy life when I'm sleep deprived and tired with my daughter waking up, and to have all of these symptoms combined, like he's saying, like his brain literally hurt, like he had inflammation throughout his body. So those are things that you would experience. There's a lot of interesting research too going into inflammation and its role in mental health. This one particular doctor, Dr. Palmer, and he's Chris Palmer, he wrote a book called Brain Energy. And it's really him using certain diets to reduce inflammation and improve mitochondrial processing, which is the powerhouse of your cells. So like on a cellular level, how can we live healthier? And it's done wonders, honestly, for people who have had not just physical health and chronic health issues, but also mental health issues. And I find that so fascinating because inflammation with the current like traditional American diet, it's not great. We all have some inflammation issues. That isn't, he has more than just what a diet can cure. So I am not trying to prescribe that for him, but just in the grander sense, the way our brain and body, our diets, our health are interconnected and being passed around to doctors. That just is so frustrating to not have the answers and to feel unheard and to be living largely like an invisible illness where it's not like there's a physical deformity that is saying, oh, this person needs additional care and help in some ways. I know that I've seen some video footage of him being really frail because he lost a lot of weight. Everything that you're sharing is so much like you just reporting your symptoms and needing needing professionals to really have enough heart to care and to listen. It's sad that it's rare to find that. And it's really sad. I think some of you have shared that you haven't received that care even within the therapy community. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that whatever pain you carried wasn't treated with love and attention and tenderness. To me, those are the ingredients necessary for healing, is to have someone who can really attune to you and be a safe place. So I've been struggling with my own health issues for the last 2 years, that they were ranging from you have diabetes to you need to go get this x-ray because maybe it's Hodgkin's lymphoma. Oh, maybe it's a parasite. Maybe it's an allergy, and just trying to figure it out. And at times when things were really hard, it would be like I didn't have the energy and I felt sick all the time to just like engage with my family. I was having to cancel a lot of sessions with clients, which I felt terrible about. And I also didn't know how to fully explain it to them because I didn't have a diagnosis. And there were times when I wondered, is this in my head? Do I feel anxiety? And is this like a psychosomatic thing? It wasn't. It's taken 2 years and lots of different tests to figure it out. I have like a hiatal hernia and it can cause a lot of problems. And then this thing called dumping syndrome, you can look it up if you want to, but basically I can have like these flare-ups where eating, digestion are affected. There's a lot of weight loss and lightheadedness and dizziness, and I'll just randomly faint. I've lived a pretty healthy life up until now, and so all of a sudden navigating all of that, and prior to having answers, just like watching myself feel like I was withering away and not getting to engage with life, feeling like a stalling out of progress that I had been making in my passions was really hard. And that was just such a brief pocket of time in comparison to Ren. Like, I think what I've been navigating is something I'll still have to navigate, but there's a much easier treatment and way to like kind of stay in remission in just such a small way. I understand that frustration, and yet he had to live with so much more pain and uncertainty and complicated doctors and navigation of those systems. That's just so much. That's so much to make sense of when you're not feeling well. Yeah, he's like lived a few lifetimes, I feel, within this one sometimes.
Rushing hard to remain sane with your brain combusting. And the third year was murder, living in a purgatory full of worry, wouldn't live to be 30. Lifestyle hurt me, always in my bed tomb. Rearranged the alphabet and all the letters spelled doom. Light hurt my eyes, popping pills to survive. When you're 23 and mentally you steadily decline. 24 I was poor, disability benefits. What's the benefit of disability? It's irrelevant. 25 and the scars that were etched, they crack. Elastic bands only stretch so far and then snap. Deep in psychosis, hallucinations, troubled vision, visits from the underworld were conjuring my superstition. 25, living back at home with my mom.
Yeah, and then like there's like poverty is traumatic. So like desire to be working and to be living and to be having like a normal life, and seeing your peers and your friends do that, and like you just feel stuck. You feel stuck and in pain and limited, and to like having to move back in with mom. Like in my early 20s, I had to move back in with my mom, and I was able-bodied. I was depressed, but I was able-bodied, and that was still really difficult. It was really difficult because I wanted so badly to be more independent, and it was temporary. So I'm not like, there's no comparison. I'm just like thinking back to like little pockets of my life where I understand, but I don't understand, if that makes sense. Like, oh, I just had like the slightest like taste of that, just the smell of that kind of feeling, and here to not have other options. And then, yeah, psychosis. I've had clients who have fallen into stress-induced psychosis. It's incredibly scary to not understand what your reality is, and oftentimes the voices or the hallucinations that are being experienced they're tied in with your deepest insecurity or fear, and are like so much paranoia and twisting of reality, which everything else, if your body and you're already navigating a system that isn't really designed to really help and care for you, and then that on top of it, it just makes me want to sob. Like, there has to be a lot of strength and perseverance from someone to pull through. So him wanting to give this story, I hope, gives so much hope for anyone who's in a stuck place and navigating anything similar, or just in general. Like, life is hard. Life is hard, and there are going to be hard moments, and you can also persevere. You also can persevere. This phrase I really liked, elastic bands only stretch so far and then snap. Yeah, like the stress that he was in, it can only go so far. Your body isn't meant to be in fight or flight constantly. It's meant to be in bursts of action where you're meant to be finding safety in a needed and necessary context. But if you're constantly fighting for survival for years, those chemicals and neurotransmitters in your brain and like the gut hormones of cortisol, which is actually produced in your gut, it takes a toll. What a difficult phase to revisit. And he's doing it really for the benefit of others, to hear this story and to have hope. Oh, wow.
But not because I'm a bum, alone and physically done. So thin, so frail, so weak I'd become. And my skin so pale, never kissed by the sun. One time I carved a hole in my chest just to feel. I wish that was a metaphor, the struggle was real. When you're living in the Holocaust, you buckle and kneel. There's relief in the teeth of the kiss of cold steel. Facts.
Wow, that was a really poetic way to bring up self-harm. I would need to find that lyric. There's relief in the teeth of the kiss of cold steel. Yeah, when you've only, you feel like numb and you haven't felt anything, self-harm has been a way that people feel like, at least I'm feeling something. It's not a solve. It's not a way to like claw your way out from whatever hell you're in. But I understand it. And I'm just so glad that he's not in that space anymore. And if anyone is self-harming, I really hope that you can find a much more robust and healthy and healing avenue, that you can really try to sense who the safe people are and feel brave enough and courageous enough to reach out to them. I would also say, if anyone is experiencing like severe self-harm or thoughts of suicide and taking their life, please call 988, or you can text 741-741. These are crisis hotlines. You deserve to hear the voice of someone who cares about you. And I know that feels strange. We've talked about this a little bit, like the idea of like, oh, I don't know you, so how can I like say that I care about you? I care about humans. And I care about humanity, and I believe in our ability to heal. And I believe that when we heal others. I am always I'm the cheerleader for anyone who's in that space, because I know that it's possible. And I know what a gift you're giving to the world. There's a collective healing that happens when we heal. And that's what Ren is showing. Hear how he is helping to heal the collective by sharing this. It's happening right in front of you. And you deserve to be a part of that, to experience that. Yeah, I invite you to join in.
26, I'm highly medicated and the pain sophisticated while I'm lying broken naked on my back. I bore my microphone until my coffin started dropping raw thoughts with the grim reaper knocking on the track. But then man, lo and behold, I heard an angel beckon on this treacherous road. Was a stem cell doctor with a generous glow. In the cell transplant pulled me out of the cold. And my skin got younger and my body got stronger. And my stomach felt hunger for a door that was closed. And my soul heard music for the first time. Beauty was a word I'd use for this gift of gold. Oh Lord, I forgive you. Lord, I forgive you. Lord, I forgive you. Make me whole. This music I give you. Pain that I live through. Everything I've been through is yours to hold.
all that messaging there is so beautiful. Have hope, have hope. You don't know when the next breakthrough, the next treatment, the next person in your life is going to show up and help illuminate a path for you. Like in all of this suffering that he's described in his chapters and in this song, he didn't know. He didn't know what was going to happen. That's the pain of it. And yet it happened. Like someone showed up in his life who was able to provide a solution and give him ease. I see a strong correlation in the work that I do with people who've had trauma in their lives and who also have autoimmune conditions. Things like POTS, lupus, fibromyalgia, having mast cell activation and some issues around food. I see a connection with people who, and I don't know anything about his home life, so I'm not sure, but I see in the work that I do that there is an emotional brain-body connection that happens. There's also healing that can happen. Sometimes it is the healing of our mental health that can ease certain systems within our physical body and find some like alleviation of what's going on. And I'm not saying that in like a woo-woo way. I'm just like, hey, I'm sorry, like your brain and your body are connected. You're one organism. If you've been living in chronic stress and trauma and living with negativity and self-hate, it's going to affect the ability of just the cells in your body to work properly. There are options, and just stay the course. Stay the course, and wherever you are in your suffering, whether that's physical, whether that's mental and emotional, whether it's a nice, lovely soup of all of it. I want to live in a world where you are here with us. And just as Ren couldn't have predicted where his relief would come and what would happen with his career and with the passion that was inside of him, you don't always have the answers, but just one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. Sometimes your goal is just get me through the hour, get me through the day, get me through the week. Baby steps, baby goals. There is still power in that. That is not nothing, and you should feel proud of yourself. Thank you so much, Ren, once again, for sharing your story, and for all of you for joining me on this journey as I break down his music. As I've always said, like what shows up and what resonates with me, it's probably different than you. We're different humans. We have different brains. And I think that if I kept watching this, I'm sure there'd be more and more that I would get to share and insights that would fall upon me. But today I'm just really excited to have had this opportunity and to be here with you in this space. I'd love to know in the ways that this song resonated or sparked something for you too. So please let us know in the comments. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. I have a goal. I would really love to get to 10,000 subscribers like by June. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm holding out some hope. And so if you haven't yet subscribed, it would mean the world, or you can share one of our episodes with a friend. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.